Hello children, I am going to start first unit from biology. So the first chapter, fundamentals of life, that is cell, we will start today about the cell. This is part 1. Now what is cell? The word comes from a Latin word cella, C-E-L-L-A, cella, which means a small room. So, what is the cell? All of us know, if there is a house, the house is made by bricks. So, the fundamental unit, the smallest unit of a house is brick. Likewise, all living organisms, they are made up of cells. So, cell is the structural and functional unit of each and every living organism. So this is cell. It is the fundamental unit of living organisms. So how the cells were discovered? It is a matter of chance. As early as 1665, there was a scientist, Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, he had made some primitive microscope type gadgets like the magnifying glasses by rubbing the lenses or glass, and he was seeing a piece of cork. Do you know what is cork? Cork is the bark of big trees. The outermost layer of the bark is made up of cork. So a thin slice of cork Robert Hooke was seeing under his primitive microscopes. What he saw certain honeycomb-like structure in this cork slice. So, these are hollow almost. What are these? These are the dead cells of bark. But at that time, he was not knowing that if these are cells or what. But in Latin, as the name cella is a small room or compartment, he called this structure as cella. And till date, we are using the same word cell for the actual cells we are having in living organisms. So this honeycomb-like structure, it is being seen by Robert Hooke in 1665, and this is the first known reference of cell in history. So after 10 years or after 9 years, Leeuwenhoek, he was the other scientist, in water, in a pond water, he saw living cells. So now these were the dead cells, and living cells were first of all seen by Leeuwenhoek in 1674 in pond water. So this is about the history of cell or the discovery of cell. Now depending on the number of cells, living organisms can be divided into two types. One is unicellular. Uni means single. So if a single cell is present, the organism is known as unicellular organism, and multicellular, multi means many. If many cells are present, so then it is multicellular. Some example of unicellular you must be knowing. One of the most common is bacteria. Most of the bacterium, they are unicellular or having single cell. Other example is amoeba. All of you know amoeba. It is a single cell animal, and it is like this, having the nucleus, the cell membrane and the cytoplasm. It is also single cell. Some other like paramecium, then Chlamydomonas, it is an algae, then Leishmania, it is a parasite, then Trypanosoma. There are many unicellular organisms you will study later in other chapters. So, unicellular means having a single cell. Then multicellular. Multicellular organisms, they are like fungi, all the plants, all the animals, they are having bulk of cells, many cells together, and they are known as multicellular. And these cells, they form the complete organism. These are special cells. First the cells, they form the tissue, then tissue form the organ, and then organ, the organ system, and then the complete organism is formed in multicellular organisms. Now one thing more, all the cells, they come from the pre-existing cell. There should be a cell, and when it divides, it can form 2 or more cells. So there should be a pre-existing cell from where all the cells they come from. This is one of the postulates of cell theory. We are not going to study this cell theory, it is out of syllabus, but one of the postulate is that all the cells they come from the pre-existing cell, and this is been described by one of the German scientists, and the name of this scientist is Virchow or Virchow. This V, it is pronounced as F. So this is Virchow or Virchow. In 1855, he said that all the cells, they are derived from the pre-existing cell. We are the human being. We also come from a single cell, and the name of this cell is zygote. All of you know, when ovum and sperm during fertilization, they fuse, they form this zygote. This is the single cell, and this zygote divide again and again millions of times, and a complete human being is formed. So initially a single cell is there which convert into a complete organism. This is about something about the cell. Now types of cells. If we are talking about human being, we have many types of cell in our body. These cells, they have different structure and they have different functions also. To do a specific type of function, different cells are present in multicellular organism. For example, in human being, we are having nerve cells for neurofunction. This is a nerve cell. You will study later on. Then we are having blood cells. This is red blood cells. And then this is white blood cells, WB or RBC. Then these are platelets. Then we are having this muscle fiber, smooth muscle fiber. Then we are having this ovum. Then we are having this sperm. Then what else? Many type. Then we are having this fat cell, and we are having bone cell. So many types of cells are present in different multicellular organism to perform different functions according to the need of the organism. So this is about this. Now all the cells, it's not going. All the cells, they are having 3 basic components. All the cells, and these 3 components are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. So if this is a cell, outer one, this is the plasma membrane, this is the nucleus, and in between the nucleus and plasma membrane, a fluid, jelly-like fluid is present, that is known as cytoplasm. So all 3 components are the basic need of a cell. In all type of cells, these 3 components are present, and apart from this, the 4th is also present, that is known as cell organelles. And cell organelles, they are present in cytoplasm like mitochondria, in plants chloroplasts, the lysosomes and many others, and vacuoles are also present. So these are the 3 essential and organelles, they are present in different type of cells. Different organelles, they are present according to the requirement of the organism. So out of these three, first we will study one by one all the three, these and 5-6 types of cell organelles in plants and animals. So first of all, we will study plasma membrane. So what is, it is also known as cell membrane. As I have told you, if this is the cell, the outermost covering, it is the cell membrane or plasma membrane. First we should know the structure of cell membrane or plasma membrane. This structure in 72 was first of all given by the scientists Singer and Nicholson. They studied the structure of plasma membrane under electron microscope and they elucidate this structure, and it is, the name is given as fluid mosaic model. Fluid means the membrane is flexible like the fluid. You know fluids are liquids and gases. So like the fluid, the membrane is flexible. The texture of, it is said that the texture of this membrane is like the salad oil. Oil is so thin, it is moving like this and this. So it is so flexible, it is said that it is like the salad oil. So the name is given by these two scientists, Singer and Nicholson, fluid mosaic model. Fluid, we know it is flowing or it is flexible. Then why mosaic? You know what is mosaic? We have mosaic floor in our house. We have different type of chips or stone, different type of stones in a floor having, which is known as mosaic floor. So this is also having different type of particles like this, like this, like this. So different type of particles, they are arranged together or they are mixed together. That's why it is known as fluid mosaic model, and this structure is under electron microscope. So in detail, what are the 3 or 4 components of this plasma membrane? The first is lipid bilayer. This is one lipid molecule. This is the other lipid molecule. One layer is formed like this, the other layer below this. So it is bilayer. Bi means 2. So 2 lipid layers are present, one upon the other. So it is, and these lipids, they are phospholipids. That is, phosphate molecule is present and 2 layers of lipid is present. So it is known as lipid or phospholipid bilayer. If you want to know the structure of a single lipid molecule, this is a single lipid molecule. It is having head. This is phosphate head. So this is head and this red color, 2 tails, fatty acid tails are present and 1 head is present. And their orientation is specific. How? The head is outside. This is the layer and this is outside the cell. This part, this complete portion is outside the cell. This is the cell environment. Outside the cell environment is this, that is outside the cell, and this portion is inside the cell. What is inside the cell? After this membrane there will be cytoplasm inside the cell, and here outside environment of the cell is present. So this head is present in the outside environment and these tails, they are present opposing one another. This is the, again the phospholipid, it is present towards the inside environment of the cell, that is towards cytoplasm. So what is the specificity of these lipid molecules? This head is hydrophilic and these tails are hydrophobic. Phobic means to hate. They hate water. They don't want to be in contact with water. So these are hydrophobic and head is hydrophilic. On both the side of the plasma membrane, water is present. So hydrophilic head is on this side, hydrophilic head is on this side, and in between hydrophobic fatty acid tails are present. So a bilayer of phospholipids is formed, which gives flexibility to the membrane. They can slide, these molecules then can slide over one another. So they give flexibility to plasma membrane. This is the first component. The second is the proteins. This purple one, this is one of the proteins, this is the other protein, and we can have more protein. These are the protein molecules. This protein, it traverses from top to bottom. That is, the complete membrane can be traversed by this protein. This is another protein. Some proteins may be only on the inner side. This is also a protein. Some may be only on the inner side. Some may be only on the outer side. It is not compulsory that the protein should go from one end to the other end. There are many types, and these are protein channels which transport different ions and molecules through this membrane. So these proteins, they are for transportation of ions and molecules across the membrane. So this is the second component of the plasma membrane. Some cholesterol particles are also present, and the fourth one, these are the carbohydrate chains. These carbohydrate chains, they are made up of single carbohydrate unit, simple sugars, and the number may be from 2 to 60. Now these carbohydrate chains, as you can see, they are of two types. If they are attached to the protein, they are protein plus carbohydrate, and they are known as glycoprotein carbohydrate chains, or only glycoproteins. If they are attached to lipid, then they are known as glycolipid. So these are important, and they form an ID of the cell. ID means identification for the cell. By these carbohydrate chains, cell has a specificity, and cell can be recognized by other cells or other antibodies of the system. So these chains, they give identification to a particular cell. So these are not only decorations, they give identification. So we have learned four components. One is lipid bilayer, second different types of proteins, third cholesterol molecules can also be present. Cholesterol is 4 carbon chains together. So these cholesterol are also present somewhere. Sometimes a few cholesterol molecules are also present, and then these carbohydrate chains are present. All have their specific functions to do. So this is in brief the structure of plasma membrane or cell membrane. Now the functions. The function of plasma membrane is very, very important for the cell. Without this plasma membrane, a cell cannot survive. So you can write down the functions. The first is protection. The cell is protected by this membrane. It forms a barrier between the outside world of the cell and the inside components of the cell. Inside cytoplasm and cell organelles are present. So inside and outside environment, a barrier is formed by this plasma membrane on the cell. So this is first, it protects the cell, forms a barrier. Second, it is also known as semi-permeable membrane, or more accurately, selectively permeable membrane. So, why it is known as selectively permeable membrane? Permeable means which allow something to go through it. So, it is permeable. Something can go inside the cell or come out of the cell. Go and exit. Both are possible, but the word selectively is for only selected ions or selected molecules or selected particles can go inside the cell, and only selected can come outside the cell. So, previously we call it semi-permeable, but the more accurate term is selectively permeable membrane. So, it is selectively permeable for ions and organic molecules. So, it regulates in and out movement of these particles. These particles can go in and come out of the cell, and the process is mainly by diffusion and osmosis. We will learn diffusion and osmosis in the next lecture. But this membrane, it facilitates diffusion and osmosis in and out of the cell. So this is the second function. The third function is it keeps toxins outside. Toxins cannot enter the cell due to the presence of this permeable, semi-permeable or plasma membrane. And the fourth function, very important, is it receives chemical messengers from other cells. Do you know what are chemical messengers? Chemical messengers mainly are hormones. So, hormones, they flow in our blood, but they function at their target site. So, the cells which are present at the target site, they are being recognized by these hormones, and this recognition is due to certain proteins and these carbohydrate chains, and certain specific proteins are present due to which hormones can recognize their target cells, and they come there, they adhere themselves to these proteins, and their function is done there. It is not necessary the hormone to come inside the cell. Outside the cell also they connect with these proteins and they do their function. So these membranes, they receive chemical messengers from other cells. What are the other cells? The cells which are producing hormones, but the target site is different. Now through blood, these hormones, they reaches to the target site cells and they function there. So this is the function. And the fifth one is act as receptors. How? These receptors again are the receptor proteins. A specific type of proteins or the receptor proteins are present in this plasma membrane, and they receive messages from other cells also and from the outside environment also. So these receptor proteins, so the cells, they are in communication with other cells of the system or the organism and the outside environment of the cell also. In this way, this plasma membrane is very important for all living organism. If there is no membrane, then all the content of the cell, they will come out of the cell and it will be functionless. For a proper functioning of the living organism, the first and foremost is the function of plasma membrane and its health. So, this is all about plasma membrane. In the next lecture, we will learn about the diffusion and osmosis through plasma membrane and then the other components. This is all for this lecture. Thank you.